space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the U.S.S. Adequate. Stop making me laugh. Our ongoing mission, until we are cancelled and replaced by something far superior, to review every Star Trek episode and movie in existence, to seek out new guests and make them very uncomfortable, to boldly go where many other YouTube shows have gone before. Well, good evening everybody, and welcome to another episode of Trekking Up North. I am one of your hosts, Captain Goodwill, and I am joined back from his missions with Section 31. We finally have him, Science Officer Synoiz. How are you, sir?
I love that. I love that you've explained it as, oh, he's off on missions with Section 31. I'm like, I'm pretty sure he's getting pissed up in the field.
Shh, don't disrupt canon.
Oh, sorry, okay.
We have canon now. We have a wiki. It's fine. We're on Memory Alpha.
Bring out the wiki. Fetch the holy tome of Wikipedia.
We should be on Memory Beta because we are not alpha males yet. So, how are you though?
I'm good. I'm glad to be back here. I was a bit annoyed because obviously, the problem is we tried to make last week work, and we were like, there's nothing. We were like, no, the episode isn't out to the world in the space we could do it. So I was like, okay, can we sort of find it on the internet somewhere at midnight on Thursday, and then stay up till 4 a.m. recording, and then go to work in the morning? I was like, no, let's not do this.
Yeah.
So I was ashamed to have to miss one, I think.
Not unless Paramount Pictures and CBS wants to give us some advanced screeners so we can do this on a Monday and then relax the rest of the week. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Paramount.
Come on, Paramount. I know you're being a bit of a dick at the minute by cancelling Prodigy and getting rid of all of that and stuff.
And making sure Enterprise Season 4 disappears for no apparent reason.
Yeah, if you can just find it within your cold, dead heart to give us the episode, we are not going to get very far with it.
No.
Okay. I'm going for the hard sell, okay? Basically,
okay.
I'm going for the tough sell. I'm doing well. I am still kind of recovering from a very fun weekend, which was, it was a festival. We performed on the Friday, and that went incredibly well, despite me falling down a set of stone steps, which was painful. Yeah, that was it. It was basically a lot of rain, old manor house, and very old stone steps, and high heels are not a good combination. So luckily all I've done is I've damaged my my thumb on my right hand. So but it's fine. I think it just sprained or something. It's not broken.
Where there's blame.
Okay. Where there's blame, there's game. I'm pretty sure I'm to blame.
Yes. You might have
go to the claimed company, and they're like, nah, you're just an idiot. I'm like, oh,
excuse you. You may notice, guys, this is recorded. It is recorded because Synoiz is off on another mission this Friday. So we have made the decision to work very hard, get it all booted up on the Thursday, just before, get it all nice and recorded so it's nice and fresh and sent out to you guys at the regular time. You may have also noticed I'm not in uniform and he's drinking a martini.
I was going to bring that up. I was going to be like, why are you not in uniform? Is it the dry cleaners or something? Is your mum done it? Oh my God, did you wash it too high and now it's too small? Oh my God, what could it be?
This is Synoiz on martinis. I have set a trend.
This is your brain on drugs.
Yeah.
This is Synoiz on martinis.
This is your brain on Paul-Star martinis. Any questions?
That's it. It's just jam.
It's all jam. But yes, guys, I am wearing something quite unique and something quite new. I'm going to try and stand up with my broken back and chest.
He's going to show his thumb off.
Oh
my God, look at that. Oh, it's so spicy. Oh, what a lovely.
That's right, guys. Trekking Up North has got its own swag. And one of you lucky viewers can be the recipient
of
their very own Trekking Up North extra large t-shirt. Don't ask. If you want to win that and some other sexy swag such as the stickers. Look at these stickers. We've got all the stickers. We've got the Scooby Gang. Look.
I've licked all of them in preparation.
They have. They have. Look. Oh, the strangest of things. If you want to be the lucky winner of a Trekking Up North XL t-shirt and a whole host of Nerdy Up North swaggy stickers, make sure you stay to the end of the show where I can tell you how you're going to win it. Ha! Do you like that? The old bait and switch? Although people watching
like
this
it.
back, yeah.
Why can they not pick their own size? Why is it just excellent? Will we come round with the required paper clips and just sort of
going
clip it at the back
going forward
we'll make it tighter.
Going forward they can, but at the moment we have an XL t-shirt, but there will be other sizes forthwith.
I just love the idea of a competition where it's like, hey, you can win this really specific thing, you know.
It's the U.S.S. adequate for a reason. It's adequately sized for most people. But yeah, also huge shout out to my old friend Alison, who at the time of this premiering on YouTube is doing a 5K in aid for Race for Life Cancer Research UK. So as Synoiz is sipping on a porn star martini and I am looking very drugged up, she is running for cancer research. So all props to the wunderbar Alison, who's already raised £200, which is £120 more than what she was originally targeted. However, we can do a little bit more than that. So the Just Giving page, is it Just Giving or just Race for Life? The Race for Life donation.
Race for Life.
Just it's down below.
Just Race for Life. You know, just escape the big crushing death thing.
It's down below, guys. If you could spare any money whatsoever, please donate what you can. No amount is too small in the fight to get rid of cancer, because cancer's a bit of a dick.
Yeah. No, cancer's a bastard.
It is.
I think we should punch it in its face.
I believe it cancelled Star Trek Prodigy.
What? That was...
Oh!
Oh! Is that the reason we didn't get an Enterprise Season 5?
Yes, the bastards. However, I do have some more news. I've received 2 packages this week.
You didn't see me. You didn't see me.
I saw the air quotes. I received 2 packages from the United States of the Americas this week.
Colonials.
There's bloody Happy Independence Day.
Yeah, that's it. Yes. Last week or whatever.
You got decent food and weather. So I'm going to get the first one. So bear with us. I have to bend over.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh, right. So the first one. Oh.
Don't show your address on the street.
There is no address. There is only Zoom.
Oh, it's just guess. Was it delivered by someone in like a caravan or something?
Yeah.
I bet it's 300 turkey dinosaurs.
It's open.
Oh. Is this in?
Is what?
Is this in yet?
Is this a... Oh, if I had a penny for every time. I would have 3 pennies. So, oh! Shout out to Joe from Spectrum Sanctorum, who, all the way from them United States of America...
Is it a Star Trekking medium? Oh, wow! Hey, look at that!
Look at that. And it's a medium as well. They don't do anything by XL over there.
Yeah, they're not gonna fob you off with an extra large.
Exceptionally well made. Oh,
it's so shiny. That looks amazing.
So shiny. Oh, wow.
Is that like a navy? I can't see.
It's a navy. It's a navy. There we go. I put it up to light. There you go.
I had a lot of fun in the navy, so that's.
Oh,
nice,
look at that.
Yeah. Oh, it's so shiny.
Oh, I've been in the captain's quadrant as well. It's quite pleasant.
Did he know?
He will now.
That's it. Did you notice? That's the question. Is it in yet?
If you do circles,
that's high quality. That is. Ooh,
it is high quality.
I can smell the quality from here.
However, there is another package that Joe has sent us, all the way from them United States of America. There's a sticker underneath.
Is it Brad Pitt's wife's head? Spoilers if you haven't seen a 30-year-old movie.
What's in the box? Oh, right, okay.
Well, let me tell you.
I may need some shopping.
Can you imagine if they did remade 7, but they had like My Hermes as like the delivery company at the end, and they were just like, "Oh, well, yeah, it's
It'll be a
broken."
film that never finishes. Ha ha.
Have to take a picture of his feet or something before they can actually hand him the parcel.
Yeah.
Just be like, what is this?
It was
Procedure this is.
it was delivered. No, it was yeeted over my back fence.
That's it. That's what it would be. That's it. If it was like
that happened
if it
to
was
me.
like Yodel or something, just like he's just in the middle of the desert and he just gets a box chucked at him.
I bought a smartwatch, right, £200 smartwatch, and I was at home, and it was being tracked, and they never came to my door, but they said it was delivered. Then I turned round and I saw a hand, literally just a hand, yeet this box over my back fence that hit my back door. £200 smartwatch, and they just gone, eh. So let's have a oh bless.
Yes,
It is a captain's quadrant agony booth mug with Gower on his. Look at him.
Oh, Lord Gowron.
Gowron, more like Frau one. Look at that. Glory to you and your cup of tea.
Glory to you.
Oh, I'm not even gonna put this. I'm not gonna put anything in it. It is going. Pride of place.
I can't see it now. It's just a little.
I'll fix the lighting later.
Oh my god, you made it smaller using the power of depth.
Forced perspective.
Wouldn't it be good though if it was one of those color changing mugs where as you pour it in, his face just goes from that to just like.
I wonder if it does.
No.
Oh, how awesome would it be though?
The amount it would cost to do that as a gag, but fucking hell, that would be so good.
Oh, Joe, Spectrum Sanctorum, I love you guys. Thank you so much for all the swag. I will do proper photos later when I feel a bit better and I have more mobility, because I've not been well this week. But I've not been well. I haven't. I've not been well. I've been broken.
What you need a little bit. You need some martini and you need a blue rinse, love. Maybe a holiday to Gran Canaria.
Gran Canaria? What about Lanzarote?
I added a couple of extra letters to that word there.
What about Lanzarote?
Like where they're just like going, should we pronounce all of the letters? No, they're just to get higher points in Scrabble. His name's Guillaume, and you're like, why is it 15 characters long? Anyway, random roundabout French names.
Wow. Okay, so we've attacked Paramount, the French, the Americans.
I'm just getting started.
Oh, he's halfway down, boys.
He's halfway down, boys. Wow, now you're even quoting my Grindr profile. Anyway.
Coming soon to Threads. Pull it.
I love that. I don't know how long we're into this, but we haven't even started the episode yet.
It's only 13 minutes. We're fine. Yes, guys.
I have to say though, I'm kind of annoyed because I was kind of hoping for a crap episode like last week because it was the one I was missing, and I was like, oh, I don't get to talk about it. But like, it was a really, really good episode, and it's and it's a bit annoying because like loads of people complaining about how Kirk's portrayed, but I think the problem is I'm probably in the minority where I really don't like Kirk. Like, Kirk's probably my least favorite captain, but I feel like it's because Kirk represents everything that was cool and sexy in the 60s, and now that's kind of he's a prick, and so it's this idea of if you got someone who just acted just like Kirk, I don't think he'd appeal to people, so it's a bit like.
And Paul Wesley is rather handsome in his own way.
Well, yeah, that's it. I mean, to be fair, like Shatner probably was really handsome. Like, in that, that whole thing of like years ago, who was handsome is different to who was handsome now. Like people looked for different things in people, but but it was just like, but I thought it was a really good episode, and it was a Lan episode, which was amazing and stuff. And I really liked that it we're getting a lot of wonderful character development in this series, where we kind of went into Lan being like sort of being born hating her heritage, and finally realizing something that is very valid, which is the idea of sometimes, evil makes good things happen. You know, like it's that weird thing where you need light to create shadows, but you need darkness to notice light in that kind of
Oh, well, you
weird
see,
way.
this is why the Force needs the dark side.
Well, yeah, that's it. And it's the idea of, and obviously her learning that, like, the only reason that good things happen in the present is because we've had to react to bad things happening in the
Yeah.
past, such as her heritage with Khan and whatnot. And and I thought that was a really important message to kind of put across there, because loads of people are just like, oh, what if you went back in time and like shot Hitler in the head? And you're like, we'd probably be in a worse war now or something, because like all of these things and developments and treaties and like inventions wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
I mean, we'd probably still have the nuclear bomb because someone would have done it at some point. But it's that weird thing about history where you just go, look, don't change it. Like just make the best of
We
today.
wouldn't have porn star martinis.
We wouldn't.
No. So, let us get into this week's episode of Star Trek Strange New Worlds, episode 4, Among the Lotus Eaters. So, this is extremely fresh in my mind because I only watched it an hour ago. Yeah, the opening scene, we see Pike and Patel back again as they are charting nebulas and
father and daughter.
Really?
Know them. I still can't see it, man. Every
Wow.
time they're together, I'm just like, oh, it's his daughter again. And then they kiss, and I'm like, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot.
Really?
Yeah, I think I'm not convinced by the relationship, and it's got that weird thing. And I don't know if it's because Pike's such a daddy, or if it's just like an unconvincing pairing. But yeah, every time I see it, I'm like, oh, I remember.
Wow. That is straight off the bat. Like, the scene hasn't even started, and we've got incestuous overtones coming out from the
It's
science
just weird.
officer.
Literally every time I see it, and then it happens, I'm like, oh, I forgot that's their relation. That's their
Yeah.
relationship.
Well, he's cooking dinner for her, as
Yeah.
the daddy always does. I mean, he can cook. He's got a quaff. What more do you need? She gives him a lovely gift, a little keystone. And I've the name of it forgets me, but it's used for sailors to navigate their way home, I believe.
Is it? Yeah, it's from a particular planet though. It's not like an Earth thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I nearly wrote it down and then thought, no.
No, yes.
Yeah, I would nearly put it down. But then so he gives her a lovely gift, and he's like, oh, lovely. But then we find out that the hood is punishing her.
Pasak the Patak.
Yeah, Pasak the Patak. Yeah, the hood is punishing her for justice being done, which is an interesting thing for a Vulcan.
Yeah,
about,
you can tell he was gunning for Pike.
Yeah.
And this is sort of the ramifications of him not getting the justice he feels was deserved. She loses out on the Commodore promotion.
It's shocking, isn't it?
It is. It is shocking, and Pike does blame himself. He does blame himself, and then he makes this lovely dinner. They sit down, and he makes a decision to take a step back from the relationship because he feels responsible for Patel not having the Commodore promotion and feels that he is damaging her career. So she just storms off, gets on a ship, flies away.
It's an odd one, isn't it? Because I don't really believe in him here, where he's just going like, oh, it was my fault. And I'm like, no, it's that she lost the court case, and did that have anything to do with him, really? Because effectively, what was proven was like the truth, effectively. And so I don't know how she could be being blamed for that, or how he could go, hey, Pasak's a dickhead, that must be my fault. It's like, no, I think it's genetic.
Yeah, he's just been a passive aggressive bitch.
Yeah, but it makes me wonder if maybe there's something deeper with Pike, where Pike's a bit sort of scared of the closeness or something. I don't know.
Well, that is referenced in the subsequent scene by Una, isn't it? Because Pike receives a urgent communique from command about Rigel 7, which many diehard Trekkies will know. Rigel 7 was featured in the pilot, the original OG Pike pilot, The Cage, where it's shortly after The Cage
one of my favorite episodes of Trek. Like, one of my favorite probably my favorite episode of the original series, which is kind of insulting to everyone who loves the normal crew. But the fact is, we have like
the menagerie is a great two-parter. Yeah, it is a great two-parter. But we do get a bit of a backstory. Basically, Una does a briefing about Rigel 7, how her and Pike and the crew visited the planet 5 years ago, and how they were only there for a few hours, and they had to leave because Spock got injured. They've been doing flybys every couple of years since then, and they've noticed on this particular flyby that the castle, which was featured in the cage and what we see here, has a garden with a delta imprinted on it. And everyone's like, and for those that don't know, I don't actually have a delta on me. Oh,
it's right there in the background.
Yeah, it's that delta there.
Yeah.
That one there. Or that one on the sticker there.
Next to the ship.
The culture has adapted the Starfleet Delta logo. So Starfleet are basically going, look, you guys, you caused this mess, you're going back and fixing it. Because Pike even admits that in the hubbub, they left Kit. They left 3 people. 3 people died during this mission, also he believes. It's their response. Yeah, well, spoilers. But it's their responsibility to fix it and put it right. And then we get that little dialogue between Una and Pike about how, because obviously, oh well, the Cayuga left in a hurry, didn't it? Says Una.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, and Una just puts Pike in his place where he's like, you're afraid of getting too close, letting people in, and I like Patel. And he's like, I know, no, I like him for you. Yeah. And Una's like, I want to be a bridesmaid.
Yeah. I want to be a best woman, right?
I've got the hat.
Would she be a best woman, or would she be a... Yeah,
best woman, yeah. Best Delirium.
It's that thing, isn't it? Because if you're on the man's side, then you're the best man / best woman. Whereas if you're on the woman's side, then it's like the...
Maid of Honor.
Head bridesmaid or head
Maid of Honor.
Man.
Maid of Honor.
I don't know how it works. I should probably get married at some point, but maybe not. But no, I think this is great though, because like we're getting 2 recent episodes, because we had the episode in Prodigy where they go back to a planet that's been contaminated, where it's like
I loved that.
Yeah. But it's this crazy thing of this. Was this ever dealt with in Trek before? Like this feels really original to me, where we have a lot of stuff where we go, hey, here's first contact, or where they're currently in the middle of a contamination. So like remember the TNG one where Riker gets lost on a planet after he gets disguised as one of their race and stuff like that. Or where Data gets trapped on the planet and he loses his memory because of radioactive material and stuff. Spoilers. Hopefully we won't need to do that.
It's 30 years old.
But yeah, but we have these episodes where they're in the middle of a contamination event and they're fixing it as they go. But this feels like the first time when they've gone, oh wow, we've got to deal with the actual consequences of something that's already happened. Like the idea of going in and seeing if you can undo the changes. And I liked that, because this is like, it's not a rehashed one, because obviously like for Ad Astra everyone was like going, oh, it's a courthouse one, every series has one of these, and you're like, yeah, but they're brilliant. But it was a bit like, yeah, actually we do always have a legal episode in every series.
We've had this and as many people probably not know, we've had this stemming all the way from the original series. So in the original series we had the episode where the U.S.S. Horizon 100 years previous had visited a planet but they'd left a book, and it was the Chicago mobsters of the 1920s, and then the culture revolved around that book and built a culture of gangsters.
Right, I don't know that episode then.
It's a really good episode, but more recently, Lower Decks did an absolute corker of a season 1 episode. The season 1 episode of TNG, do you remember the one where it had, it was the actor that played Kirk's son in Wrath of Khan and Search for Spock, David Marcus. He played an alien, and what it was a star system that had 2 alien races. And what happened was one alien race created a drug for the other alien race to then be dependent on, so that there was a constant economy. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, that's it. And then and it's all very Dune. They all
yeah,
look
it
very
is.
Dune-esque.
It's very Dune. You know, like this is he who controls the spice. But that's what it was. Lower Decks, out of all the episodes, Lower Decks did an episode called Second Contact. I don't think it was called Second Contact, but it was about Second Contact. They visited these two planets and they went to the one that was dependent on the drugs first.
Yeah.
And it was really... I give honestly, watch Lower Decks. It's not just an animated comedy. It really gets deep into the lore of Star Trek, and Mike McCann is so up there when it comes to his knowledge as well.
It's basically a very good show with all these references in that if you're a fan, you'll be like, you'll be doing the Leonardo DiCaprio meme, just being like,
yeah. But it also explains it for new viewers as well, because it did in this, because they did it in the form of a mural where they're like, the Enterprise D visited, and in the TNG episode, spoilers, I mean, again, 30 years old, 35 years old, geez.
It could just be Sarah that hasn't seen it yet.
No, Peachy's seen it. Yeah, she has. She's moving on to DS9 shortly, so good on you, Peaches, for that.
Good girl.
Good girl. Hello to everyone in the comments, by the way.
Enjoy it. Yeah.
Hang on, where would I be looking at the camera? Hello to everybody in the comments. There we go.
Why are they over there? What are they doing over there?
Oh, you just drink your martini. It's fine.
No,
so,
are they over here?
Yes, they are. There you go. You're looking at the
proper jobs. What are you doing on a Friday night watching this tot?
Bloody Tories. So, But in the TNG episode, to break this cycle, the Enterprise, because the race that's dependent on the spice, shall we call it, the drugs, they only have one functional ship.
Copyright.
Yeah. They only have one functional ship. So the Enterprise disables the engines of that ship to prevent them from receiving that spice. And in Lower Decks, what happens after the Enterprise leaves is depicted as a mural, and it does raise really good questions, because the original series, Voyager, DS9, Next Gen, all of them, hey, we visit this planet, we cause a load of shit, and then woof, we're off to our next adventure. What happens? And this episode was like the consequences of your actions, and there's a mural where they absolutely lost their shit. They went through withdrawal and everything like that, and then they emerged enlightened and culturally enriched for having got rid of the drugs. And the plot twist was the planet that was supplying the drugs just fell into major destitution and were invaded. And it's just like, it's really interesting to see that. And with this episode, it's like, we visited Rigel 7 in the cage. We never visited it again. Now they're going back 5 years later to see what happened and why they've adopted the Starfleet Delta and everything like that. So then we get, and I know it was a good episode, but I'm hoping this is not the Ortegas episode, because the next scene is Ortegas doing a personal log.
I was going to mention it later, but this was one of my criticisms of the episode. Is I loved it, but we need an Ortega episode.
We do.
We need a proper full-on, because she's amazing. I'm assuming those are her pronouns, but they are absolutely amazing. And I was so excited. I was just like, yes, they're finally going to get their own episode. And then they kind of got half of one. Yeah. But then they weren't the main plot. And you're like, I'm disappointed.
This is my only disappointment of the episode.
Still got a lot more of them.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy about.
Because she's dead excited in the next scene, because she's been tasked with...
The hat?
Yeah, the hat.
I love the hat.
It looks like a Cossack. She's dead excited because they have to go down to Rigel 7. They need a pilot because there is so much debris in the atmosphere caused by two planetary bodies colliding. Planetary bodies, not moons, because Spock, that would be speculative of Spock to ascertain that they are moon.
The pedantry.
Yeah. So she's dead excited that they are dressed in Rigelian clothing, as is accustomed to the time. They're all going, and Pike...
They look like Mongols/Cossacks, don't they?
Yes, because that's what they look like in the cage.
Thing.
Yeah, that's how they look.
Outfit, but...
Yeah, they were based on Mongols in the original pilot in '64. So Umbenga, Ortegas, and La'an, they're walking towards the shuttle bay. They can't use the transporters. They need a shuttle. Spock stops them in the tracks and says, basically, you can fly down, but we need someone to pilot the Enterprise because the amount of interference by these two planetary bodies means that we need someone to manually adjust and manually fly the ship. And the only one that's good enough to do that is Ortegas. So straight away, Ortegas is crushed at the fact that she's had a big moment to go down with the landing party, fly shuttle in a dangerous atmosphere, and Spock's just like, yeah, nah, back to your chair. And it's like, I felt for her in this because you could see the crushing disappointment.
But that's the thing, it's that thing of like her first away mission, effectively.
Yeah.
And you just like, and she doesn't get to do it. They don't get to do it. I don't know. I'm assuming her pronouns are she, her.
It is, yeah, she, her. She's a wonderful actress as well.
But they're so good. Like, this is the thing. I was talking to someone the other day who was talking about it, and they were saying that they watching Strange New Worlds, they didn't feel connections to the characters, and I'm like, whoa, that is the opposite of mine. Like, I've got it. Like, how we were with the bridge crew on like Picard season 3.
Yeah.
And on the Titan, we were like, oh, these guys are great, amazing. And then like on this, I'm just like, yeah, I want a full episode about Ortega. Yeah, I want more like episodes of Lana, Una, or like even like I don't think what would happen if we got a full Pelia episode. I don't think
we
that's
need
going to
one
be on
more.
The cards. But
we do
I
need
quite
one.
like her just being this random thing. Like last week, I love the random little bits where it's like, have you robbed the Louvre? And it's just.
That painting was actually stolen in 1990.
Yeah, I love it.
So Trekkers just like, yeah, it's Pelia that's done it. And I was like,
I just love the random little thing where you're just like, okay, that's weird, but I love the concept of it.
Yeah. So La'an stays behind. Pike, being the test pilot, flies the shuttle down. They land safely. They fly over an asteroid, which has struck the planet. It looks like to have struck the planet a few thousand years ago. They fly through the debris. As they are walking, they land, and then La'an feels a ring in her ears, and then the next thing, they are walking, and La'an doesn't realise that 6 hours has passed in the episode, and Omenga's naturally concerned. But Pike is like, well, it's 6 hours to the shuttlecraft, or we continue going, but light is fading, so we can't go now, we'll have to wait. So they decide to bunk up for the night near the castle.
I do want to point out just before this is the reason why we have Mbenga on the thing, because he's asking himself, why am I on this mission? Why do you need a doctor? And it turns out that they're like, well, no, we don't need a doctor. We need someone who can handle themselves in a fight.
Oh, and he can.
The fact that, as a veteran, like Mbenga can do it, and obviously Lon being chief of security can. And it's very strange because they're kind of going, yeah, we don't need you as a doctor. We need you as a fighter because we can't take our technology down. We can't be relying on phasers. We literally need to rely on hand-to-hand.
And he can kick ass as well.
Yeah, it's that crazy thing, though, that like he's like this archetype of, like he's like a pacifist now, effectively, because he's gone through all of that, and that's why he's a healer. But he's still willing to like kick ass, kind of thing. Not quite as severely as Worf, where he's like, "I'm a pacifist. Off with your head."
The headings are on a Wednesday.
Yeah, worst father, worst pacifist in all of Star Trek.
Awful father, excellent daddy.
Yes, I've seen that meme. But that's it. It's like, it's scary though where she freaks out, because I think the way it's done in the episode like is really good. That obviously she's just like, they're like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Honestly, no." But as they are going to try and keep it secret, and she's just like, no, this is what's happening.
Well, that's what you need in an away team. You need that honesty. You don't, and if you're feeling bad, you don't want to be kept to yourself on a hostile planet. And as they are literally in front of the castle, which again has got the Delta symbol on the gate, Mbenga's running back, going, "Captain!" Guards show up because they do see that the guards at the gate have got phaser rifles. Pike is like, "Oh shit!" And then more guards turn up. And they're like, "Oh, we are travellers from the north." And they're like, "We know you from Starfleet." And I like that. That was a good little plot twist. I was like, oh, okay. Because going back to the castle in the next scene, the ringing is still there for La'an. By the way, that really gave me a headache all the way through that episode. I don't know if it's because I'm hopped up on the drugs, but I was just like this was like super. Yeah,
I think it was done really well, but it was a bit painful to hear all the time, you know.
Yeah, especially in surround sound. Please don't.
Oh.
So yeah, the twist of the episode turns up because they are taken to the castle. They're taken to the central court. Who is leading them? One of the officers that was left behind 5 years ago, Yeoman Zach. Now, my only tidbit about this, the uniforms would have been different if it was 5 years ago.
Right, yeah.
That's all I'm going to say on that one. But no, it's... Yeah, so Zach, Yeoman Zach, who Pike thought had died with the other two people, turns out he was left behind. Zach obviously and transparently holds a grudge for being abandoned by Captain Pike.
Now, does this happen in the original episode? Like,
no.
Is there a guy called this? So he's just made up for this.
The issue.
I can't remember him.
The issue with Rigel 7 has already taken place. So the cage opens with them coming back from Rigel 7.
That's what I thought, because I was like, I don't remember this at all. Like, you know, anything about... I remember Rigel 7 being mentioned, but all I remember is the big heads and the cages.
Yeah, they were coming back from Rigel 7 because this is the mission where Pike considered quitting. And then I have only just realised, and then the doctor comes in and prescribes him a martini.
A martini, will say.
He breaks out a martini glass. Holy shit, it's all coming full circle. This is why we drink martinis. It was subliminally placed into us. Yes, blem, blem, blem.
This is how I drink martini, like a little...
Like a chihuahua.
Yeah. Have you tried drinking like a dog? It's weird. You can't do it. You need a really long tongue to actually get the liquid in. Otherwise, you just splash in your face. They won't let me in pubs anymore.
So yeah, Yeoman Zach holds a grudge towards Pike, and he's had to suffer being on Rigel 7. As he is talking, Pike zones out and Umbenga zones out, and that ringing starts again. And the next thing,
we all know someone like Zach, you know, where everyone's like, yeah.
And the next thing, they wake up in a cage. It's all coming together.
With a martini.
With a martini, yes. They have a prisoner barman. La'an is passed out. Pike doesn't have any memories. Umbenga doesn't have any memories. And Umbenga is portraying himself as quite weak as well. Quite... He's not the kick-ass Umbenga that we know and love. Pike goes to inspect La'an. La'an just twats him in the nozzle, which I absolutely loved. They are starting to lose that. Well, they've lost their memories.
Well, the thing is, we already have it mentioned that it's radiation sickness. I think Zach mentions that radiation sickness is part of what happens to people.
He doesn't. Yeah, he doesn't explain it fully. He says there's a weird radiation that is affecting people on the planet, and then we get more exposition later on in the episode.
I remember he alludes to it, and you know, because I know because it's in my notes. But it's you know, but it's that crazy thing because obviously, but then we have everyone waking up in the cages. But I think before then, don't we have it where we have Uhura?
No, that's after.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's literally straight after. So Uhura is starting to feel the ringing as well. Una says, "Have you sent these reports to the Federation?" No, and she's like, "Well, I asked you to do that 2 hours ago." And she's like, "Did I send them?" I don't know. Sends her to sick bay.
I'm like this at work if I'm perfectly honest. Hang on, did I do that thing I was meant to do?
I've been like that all week.
I have to check through the logs, being like, I was at that on Monday. Yeah. But seriously, I think I had secondhand hangover from the people I was with. Actually, I'll get into it later when we start describing this
Yeah.
this episode a bit more.
So Una sends Uhura to sickbay, asks Ortegas to go with her. Down in sickbay, Chapel says that
Also, can I just point out how cool this is? Like, you know, the wonderful thing that I keep saying about Starfleet and about Star Trek is the idea of when someone has a problem, they take it seriously.
Yes.
And that if we had a community that was like this, it would be far better.
Are you listening,
you know,
society?
When you get someone who just says, hey, I'm having this weird thing happen to me. Like, it's very rare in Trek that they just go, whatever. You know, they always go like, let's do a scan. Oh, well, we couldn't find anything. Tell us if it happens again. You know, but there's this immediate kind of belief. And in this, where Una just goes, no, go to sickbay, go and get checked out, rather than just being like, oh, well, just do better at your job.
But you can work, right?
Yeah, and it's this idea that it's very much, this is part of what I love about the Star Trek utopia, effectively. And the fact that Ortega is just like, hang on, what if she passes out on the way to, like, the med bay, and obviously goes with her, and I think that's great. I just really like this little exchange here. But
are you taking note, workplaces?
But this is the thing: happy employees are better employees.
Yeah.
What a crazy notion that
God
is.
damn it! Eh? So yeah,
it's like rail workers that are paid enough don't go on strike. What a crazy concept that would be.
Yes. Fuck the Tories. So yes, Chapel sees that Uhura's neural pathways are being blocked, and they don't know why.
Not blocked, destroyed.
Well, degrading.
Yeah, like degraded, and you're just going like, what the, like, you know. And I think it's a bit weird where she's talking about it. I would be panicking like shit if someone was like, hey, you're kind of experiencing brain death.
Well, that's why she sedates her. Yeah, so she sort of sedates her. And Chapel says, well, it'll be fine as long as it's contained to Uhura. And if by magic or plot device, Spock chimes in and says, we've got 6 other people down here that are starting to forget and are starting to lose their memories. And you're like, oh, it be spreading.
And it just got Nurse Chapel's face where she's like, oh, piss, another pandemic.
Loved her haircut, by the way. This
like the last episode where she had to work out, like in season 1 or whatever, where she had to like cure everyone. Where Una kind of came out and ended up healing everyone and stuff, but Nurse Chapel's like, another ship-wide emergency, god damn it.
Yeah, lovely hair this week though. That's what I'm going to say, Jess Bush.
Yeah, I noted down that she looked different, like Nurse Chapel, and I don't know if I liked it. I don't think I liked the look as much as the other one, but she still looks great.
But I did, because she's fabulous. I love Jess Bush. She's gorgeous.
I can't really judge the gorgeousness, but it's the idea of, I really, what I said is that I wasn't keen on her in the first episode of Strange New Worlds. I was a bit like, oh, she's a bit weird. Like, why is she like this? Why is she wearing this white bodysuit as opposed to a uniform and stuff? But she's really grown on me now as this kind of separate character where she's not quite Starfleet, but she's like there and she's got her own style. And yeah, she's really grown on me as a character. But like,
yeah, she's sort of like she's sort of like an apprentice, for want of better terms.
Yeah, she's like a student.
Yeah, and like she's got a don't give a shit attitude, but she also gives a shit monumentally as well.
Yeah,
which is great. I just love I love Jess Bush. I love how she's portrayed Chapel. I think this is just given a whole new dimension to Nurse Chapel, which we didn't fully get in the original series, apart from her pining over Spock.
Yeah, I think that was the thing with all the women in the original Trek. It was the idea of, they had personalities and stuff, but they were kind of limited by the plot lines they got.
Yes. So anyway, back on Rigel 7, a guard opens the cage for Umbenga, La'an and Pike, and they say, get up if you want to, if you want to eat, or you...
Yeah.
It's either get up or starve.
Yeah. How crap is that, though? When someone knocks on my door and says, like, do you want to eat? And then they take you to a bloody workhouse and you're hitting rocks.
But also as well...
this is not a Toby Carvery.
But also as well... No, it's a Weatherspoons. Oh, God. But how many flights of stairs for the toilets? But why were the cages kept outside in the freezing cold weather?
Well, this is what they say. I love this line of dialogue where they kind of say that people at night sleep outside in the cages for protection. which basically suggests that there's lots of wild animals or something.
Ah.
So, because I think it's like, as
Oh
we
no,
find
they've
out
been
later,
told. Yeah, they've been told it is for protection.
exactly, it might not be, but it's the idea of you get people in this society who don't know where they live.
Yeah.
So the fact that a lot of people might not know where home is or how to get home, that they have these cages where they're like, oh well, at least wild animals won't eat you. You'll still be fucking freezing though.
Yes,
But
because a mysterious man comes in and starts talking to them.
mysterious man.
Mysterious man who sort of defends them because he says to the guards, you know, they're forgetting has been, you know, this is their first time. They are, you know, it's a hard one for them. And he talks to them. He basically just says, look, you need to play along in order to survive. You need to come with us. You need to do what you need to be told in order to survive. And then, you know, you can play along. They go to they identify like by the colours who is who. So one's like a woodcutter, one's a stonemason, and I don't know what Laan was. They never said. I don't think they said. She was
They said blue is a stonecutter and what is it? And green is a woodcutter, but I don't think they said what Laan did.
Yeah, they never really said, but they go to the labour camp, and they feel like they don't belong. They feel weird. They don't feel like they should be there. The mysterious man says, well, do you know your name? I've got it tattooed there. There's no tattoos on them, whatever. Yeah. Pike's hands are not the hands of a stone breaker or a stonemason or anything like that.
Wouldn't it be really confusing, though, if Pike had loads of, like, tacky chav tattoos? Where you had, like, you know, where you have, like, ma'am or some...
Do you think he's got a tramp stamp?
He got a tramp stamp and he's got like sort of ma'am and then some wings on his back being like, up there with the angles.
Up there with the angles.
I guess my name must be ma'am.
And Princess Di.
Up there with Princess Di and the angles.
You know, he's just got Anson Mount on his knuckles. Hang on, that would actually work. ANSON. MOUNT. Holy shit, it would actually work. No. Anson Mount.
Oh, see, there's a mistake. That's what
that is the hardest core Trekkie idea.
That'd be so metty, though. That metty? You got 20 pence for the metty. That'd be so like meta if you had it where he had Anson Mount tattooed to his hands, so Pike thought that his name for the rest of the episode was Anson Mount.
Oh my god,
it's like it's really odd.
Imagine if they do
remembering their real names in the episode.
Imagine if they do a Supernatural-esque travel back in time, different universe where they're actually all actors on Star Trek.
That'd be so surreal, man.
That would be fucking. Or Galaxy Quest, that would be amazing. But
Galaxy Quest crossover, that'd be so good.
But yeah, a fight breaks out with the guards. Laan, naturally, kicks the ever-loving shit out of people. Pike kicks the ever-loving shit out of people, but Laan gets cut. She gets kniffed.
Oh.
She gets kniffed.
Kniffed.
She gets
kniffed. It's more of a sword, isn't it? It's more of a sword.
Yeah, it is. It's more of a sword. It's a thwar, not a thwar. But Umbenga instinctively knows what to do. And Pike's like, are you some kind of healer? He's like, I don't know. I just know I know what to do. And he's just like, oh, that's okay. That's kind of cool. Back on the Enterprise, the crew is suffering brain degradation. And Chapel deduces that it's explicit memory that is being lost, not implicit memory. So short-term memories are disappearing, or facts are disappearing as well. But instincts. Yeah.
So it's the idea of something that's instinctive, something that we know how to do all the time, we retain, like language and like sort of basic knowledge. But anything higher than that, like she says, surgery, or like, you know, how to operate computers, people don't know. And it's like, and that's really interesting that it's like, so, because obviously you always have it in stuff where it's like, oh, they've totally lost their memory. And it's like, how do they still know how to use a computer then? You know, it's like, how do they still know how to talk? You know, it's like, yeah.
But that's the thing. So Spock then devises a plan to give everyone a pad, and he's like, this is who you are. This is what you do.
which backfires amazingly when we get to it.
Yeah, it really does. So he orders Ortegas to take the ship out of orbit to get away because they believe it's the radiation surrounding the planet.
We also forget that in this scene between Chapel and Una starts losing her memory, where she gets the ringing in her ears.
Oh, yes, she does, yes.
Yeah, and Chapel's like, okay, okay, so might be a waste of time talking to you about this.
Yeah, so she essentially puts Spock in command. Spock orders Ortegas to take the ship out of orbit because they believe it's the debris field surrounding Rigel 7 and the radiation that comes with it that is causing the memory loss, so they're ordered to hightail out of there. Back on Rigel 7, they go back to this man's hut, and he's like, this is my hut, I can tell, because I've got my thing and my thing's on there. And we're like, okay, cool.
I think this is a crazy nice bit of world building.
It is.
I really like this sort of like the world that they build in this episode.
It is.
I like the world building, the world they build. I'm like, yes, that's...
Well, Umbenga is determined to save La'an. This fella is saying, best to just let her go because you'll forget it by tomorrow, because everyone here loses their memories every day. So by tomorrow, you won't know she even existed. And it will ease your burden. Umbenga doesn't want any of it. There is a totem in the centre of the hut, which is explained that the totem is the story of the two people, the two Kalar, the field workers and the people who preserve history and plan. So every time they wake up, they consult the totem so they know who they are and what their purpose is in life. And they are the field workers. And Pike goes, well, that's a bit shitty for you, that you are the ones that toil in the field and get to forget, and yet the ones that live in the palace can have all of their memories and basically live a life of luxury. What is fair about that? Which is like, he's sort of got a point.
Which is a very good, this is the wonderful bit of political commentary on this episode, like we get in all good Star Trek. And it's that idea, the guy justifies it as, but their job is really difficult. They have to do the remembering and they have to make the laws and govern stuff. And you're like, that's not the hard bit. The hard bit is the working in the field all day. But this is exactly how, class systems maintain themselves, where they kind of go, you've got to do the shitty job because it's far harder doing the cushy job at the top. And you're like, no, it isn't.
It really isn't.
Where people talk about well, that billionaire's there because he's worked really hard. And you're like, no, he isn't. No. That's not what's happened.
Most billionaires are cybernetic. That's what I've come to deduce.
Or next to the Titanic currently, which is... Speaking of other exciting episodes the last couple of weeks.
I'm detecting sass.
That's it.
Welcome to the last episode of Trekking Up North, everybody.
Billionaires, they'll come in and stop us. Fuck them. Then an extra large. But
yes. So they reference the gentleman references that people's memories are stored in a casket within the castle, and that these memories can be...
He references a legend that
they
are stored in a casket, and this is something that's on the totem.
Yes, so Pike and Umbenga... So you go.
I just want to point out, going back to the political thing, it's the idea of... This idea of a compliant, a docile subclass is something that we have at the moment, where what we have in the UK is basically that things have gotten so bad, but then everyone has just become apathetic to it, where everyone's very much like, there's no point changing anything. I like the idea in this episode where it goes, people's solution is not to try and change the horrible situation they're in. It's just simply to be like, you'll forget anyway. And it's kind of like we have now, where people are like, what's the point of caring about stuff? And you're like, yeah, but, you should be working towards something better. And, it is that idea of, how a subclass can just get, beaten enough that they just think that that's the best that you can possibly get. And then they don't actually
They
try to
don't
change
strive for anything more than what they already have. They don't strive to get out of the ecosystem and the world which they know. They are not. I see it a lot in my life where, oh, this, I'm happy doing this because this is all I've ever known, and I'm like, there is a whole world out there. And it's it's not. I'm not saying spend all your money and travel. It's like, look beyond your borders. Look beyond your what's in front of you, and see that there is better things.
The whole point is like, compliance through comfort. Where just the idea, we on the Labyrinth episode of Nerdy Up North, we talked about the bit where it's like, oh, you've got your toy, you've got your teddy bear, you've got you got all these nice things, and then he's just like, yeah, happiness is basically surrounding yourself full of nice things and not ever thinking of the real where you're going to. And then in this one, the idea that he's like compliant, just being like, oh, well, it doesn't matter, we'll forget anything. There's no point caring about anything because, obviously his reaction to Lan dying is, don't worry, you won't remember her tomorrow, so what's the point in trying to save her?
Yeah.
And it's like, and you just go, that is terrifying. But, that's like the far extreme of people being like, oh, well, what's the point in voting? We can't change anything anyway. And you're like, well, we definitely won't with that attitude,
Yes, and that has seemed to have slipped over the last 13 years. So, fuck the Tories. But anyway, getting back to this. So, they devise a plan. They're going to go to the palace. They're going to find this casket, and they're going to retrieve their memories in the hopes of saving La'an. This gentleman comes with him. We don't know his name. That's all I'm going to say. We never know his name.
I think his name is Jeffrey Barnabas Collins.
Oh, well. Thank God you never said Jeffrey Archer. So,
imagine if it was Jeffrey Archer.
Fun fact. Jonathan Archer was originally going to be called Jeffrey Archer. That is fact. They changed it because someone told them there was a well-known political figure in the UK. So they changed it.
I love the idea of that. That do you think if a place doesn't do their sort of research properly, there might be sort of imagine if it was just like, well, what's our first officer called? Myra Hindley. He's just like, oh God.
This is why you have teams and teams of researchers that scour everything to make sure that your character is not related to a bellend.
Have you seen that meme where it's literally it's like a video and it's like some Australian Good Morning show and it's got where it just goes oh, we just want to wish a happy anniversary to such and such and such and such, and then it's a picture of Fred and Rose West.
Yeah.
And he's just like, oh God.
Oh.
Just this idea of these Australians do not know that they're serial killers.
Didn't that Marjorie Taylor Greene do that? And someone thinged and and a big happy birthday to a British viewer, Jimmy, and I'm just like, oh,
Jimmy Savile, and you're like, oh no,
oh God. Well, he's dead, so you can cross him off your birthday list.
Good trolling. I just say well done to the trolling warriors out
there. Prey on their stupidity, everybody. So anyway, back on Rigel 7, they're on the way to the palace, or La'an can't go any further. So Mbenga stays with La'an, won't leave her. Pike goes on his own to the palace. Just before he leaves, the man says, when you do find the casket, leave my memories there, because I don't want to know, I don't want to feel the burden of the memories. And then he references the necklace that Pike is wearing, which is what Patel gave him. Pike doesn't know that Patel gave him this, and he's like, I feel it was someone close, and the fella's like, well, it's someone you loved, and that's worth having that memory of someone that you love. So Pike, one-man army that he is,
well, Mbenga gets hurt, doesn't he? Is that this scene or is that later?
He doesn't get hurt, does he?
Yeah, no, when Wenger gets like shot in the leg, like he gets grazed in the leg,
Yes,
so
he
Pike leaves him
does.
behind, and
Yes.
which is I always wonder about this in shows where where they just go like, "Oh, you hold them off here, I'll be back for you later," and you're like, "Hang on, you're making a big assumption that he's going to survive here." It's just like one man and a gun against anyone who comes along,
I would
and it's a
say
bit
it's
like,
Umbenga, but it's not Umbenga.
yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine, but you know that thing that they have in films where they're like, "I'll come back for you later," and they never come
Yes.
back and go, "Oh, you're dead."
Because he
Oh,
takes a
okay,
gun.
should have planned for that.
He takes the gun as well.
Yeah.
That's how he goes. That's where we see him heading off
No,
to the palace.
they both have guns. They both have guns at this point, but basically Pike just goes, "I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna lock the door behind me, and then I'll come back for you once I've got our memories back."
Back on the Enterprise, Spock and Ortegas hear the ring. Next thing, there's alarms going off everywhere. They don't know who they are, and the pads were a waste of fucking
I
time.
I love this so much as a
Can't
joke because
believe
obviously
that.
because Spock sort of like has the pad in his hand and he looks at it and he's like, "I can't read this," and it's like, yeah, because he's gone back to his implicit memory, which is Vulcan, and
Yeah.
the pad is all in English, and it's this idea of going, "What's this?" I love the idea of it. It's just being like, "Oh yeah, that was a waste of time."
But it's also as well because Ortegas like monumentally freaks out. Like she
Mm.
doesn't want to be there at all. She heads down the turbo lift. The turbo lift's just like, where do you want to go? I want to go home. And they're just like, oh yeah, deck 6. And then we get this lovely little zombified deck walk of all like chapels just walking around like essentially Tesco shoppers on a Saturday. So they
To be fair, this is literally the festival I've just been at. Like
yeah.
this whole scene here is like, oh my god! But
I'll trade you my
it's a,
shirt for a grilled cheese.
oh, it's the I love this whole plot line though that they go through because it's kind of just to get a bit sad and depressing at the minute. It's the idea of this is how terrifying like losing your memory is, like like dementia and stuff, and
Oh
it's
god,
this
yeah.
idea of how terrifying it is to have something to feel that lost and just be in a situation where you're like, well, because like several of my friends, like their parents have ended up sort of having dementia and them having to help them through it, and just how harrowing it is that this person you love just wakes up every morning or whatever or every couple of hours and then just goes like, where am I, what's this, who are you, like, and it's just how scary it is, like,
Yeah.
this situation, and I think they portray, obviously I don't know what it's like, but I think they portray it really nice here with Ortegas being like so freaked out by where they are, what's going on, and fumbling her way through the ship to get somewhere. And obviously, it's great that you have this interaction with her in the ship where she's asking the questions of, "Oh, take me home," and it's like, "Okay, this is where the turbo lift drops them off," and it's like, "Where do I go from here?" And it's like, "Oh, follow the lit up corridor." And obviously, we get this in
It's a TNG
TNG, don't we?
reference. Yeah, I've got
Yeah,
it
where we
noted
get we
down.
get the actual ship
Yeah,
doing it, and I
follow the illuminated path. Yeah.
and that's with Luxana, isn't it?
Uh,
I think it's Luxana being like, "How do I get to the holodeck?" And then it
yes,
goes,
it
"Oh,
is.
follow
Yes,
the lights, follow the arrows." I think it is.
yes.
But yeah, I thought this was like such a good scene, and it kind of demonstrated how terrifying like losing your memory is and how it can affect people. But I will say though that it reminds me of the festival I was just at because wow, when you see stoned people,
Yeah.
but then you see someone who is so beyond stone, you are like, okay, how did you get here? How did you get this far? Like literally on the Sunday morning, got up and the only thing open was like this chai tea tent. And every time I went in there, it was impossible. Like, because the woman doing it was so stoned, she didn't have a clue where she was. She was literally just talking to anyone about anything when they came in. And I kind of went in and I was like, oh, what food's on? And she was just like,
Whoa.
we've got food, and I'm like, no, no, what food, and it was like this whole thing, and you're like pulling at teeth trying to get the answer, and she was just like, oh, and I was like, okay, what tea have you got on? I think we've got some peppermint. And I was like, can you look? And she's like, and then just turned back to the guy she was talking with about her travels in India 10 years ago. And she was so stoned that she couldn't function. And I was just like, I just had to walk away. I was just like, I'm not getting anywhere here. And there was a massive queue of people, and she was totally just unaware. And it's this thing of just going, whoa. So, obviously weed is a wonderful thing. It has amazing medicine values and whatnot, but wow, overdoing it is just, you end up like this episode, but you're just standing there in the corridor being like.
But it's also the anxiety as well that comes with, like sometimes being that stoned, where there's the mellow
losing control.
Yeah,
like, losing control can freak out a lot of people who are used to being in control.
But they played this with Ortegas in this, because they played her as anxiety riddled, because she doesn't know where she goes. She gets to her quarters and she's like, yes, this feels right, but then the ship starts getting pummeled by rocks and she starts freaking out because she doesn't know who she is. She doesn't know what's going on. She just wants it all to stop, and she's begging the computer to stop, and the computer's just like, "Rrr." And it's that.
Well, I think it's great that the computer helps her. Like, where she's just like, who am I? And the computer's like, you are Erica Ortegas. You are the pilot. And she's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
She's just like, oh, I'm the pilot. So that's why we're in. So because I'm here is why we're in the middle of, like, an asteroid field. Like,
yeah,
okay.
Because the computer basically says, you are Lieutenant Erica Ortegas. You are the helmsman of the Starship Enterprise. You are... He's like... I pilot this ship. Affirmative. I pilot this ship. Affirmative. You are. You've muted.
Ship is the line.
Oh, there we go. You've come back. Speak again, sir. No, you've got off again.
Sorry, it was because I was pouring my drink and I didn't want to come up.
Oh no, do some sweet ASMR pouring.
That's the sound of. Hold on, I'll do some ASMR pouring. Okay.
Oh no. And Zoom's not picked it up.
I don't know if you could hear that.
No, Zoom's not picked it up. Damn you, noise cancelling.
Damn you, Zoom.
So yeah,
you're the one recording this, and I'm still paying for my subscription. I still haven't cancelled it. I'm still paying £7 a month or whatever for like premium Zoom, and I haven't used it since we started.
Oh wow.
This show.
Definitely cancel.
Should probably cancel that.
Yes,
one.
please cancel. A little behind the scenes for you there, guys.
It's really weird not
this
having
shit costs money,
because like it just feels like me chatting to Goodwill. And I'm like, okay,
this costs money, guys, money that we don't have.
£7,
Yes.
Can we quickly speculate on what's happening in the chat right now? Because obviously this isn't live, this is pre-recorded. Sorry if you just realised that.
Beth has cereal.
Does she? She's got cereal. Okay.
Nerdy up north is spamming emojis.
Yeah, that's it.
Mark is in the chat. Hi, Mark.
Hi. Hello, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Yeah.
Can I have a job? Lee and Christopher.
Shameless. This is you on Twitter, just shameless.
This is what I did.
But I know it works.
Lee and Christopher are winding everyone up. Sammy's dropped in to say hello because she's a wonderful human being. So is
Adam
Donna.
Got the guns out.
Adam, the 12-foot tall Viking goddess, not goddess. Sorry, undo. Has joined the chat. Yeah, just many debaucheries are going on in the chat. But yes, the computer.
Got lovely Joe in the chat. Joe.
Joe. Of course, Joe's going
to be tuning in.
Joe is going to be there because we love Joe. We love Jason. We love the other Jason. We love Nita. We love everyone at Spectrum Santorum.
I've heard that Dita can bite a bear in half.
Nita,
yeah. I mean, Nita, she can snap them in half.
Just with a look.
With her eyes.
Yes, just with a look. She's got that Puerto Rican spice. So, yeah. Anyway.
She got that Puerto Rican spice.
She's got that Puerto Rican spice. She's going to kill me when she sees me in New York. Good God. So anyway, yeah, so the computer's telling her that you are Lieutenant Ortegas. You are the pilot of the Enterprise. And she's like, I know how to do this then. It's a lovely inter thing between Rigel 7 and the Enterprise. So she makes a beeline for the bridge. And she's like, I know how to do this. I know how to do this. And Spock's like, you do? No, but I know how to do this. And then we're getting a nice firefight in the palace between Pike and the guards. And then there is a standoff with the yeoman Zack.
I have to point out how brutal this is. Like,
He gets it.
Pike is so butch in this scene. Like, be still my twitching loins, but like, he is so butch in this scene. Like, and it's quite violent. Like, he's really brutal with the punches. Like, when Zach's on the ground and he's literally just hammering him in the face.
Oh, and he's like,
okay,
I yield.
You mean business.
Yeah. And
he eats him as well. That's quite good.
So he beats, and then Ortega starts flying the ship. And Spock's like, they come up against this massive asteroid, and Spock's like, I wouldn't, I'd recommend moving. And she's like, nah. And just cuts a hole into the asteroid and just barrel rolls, does a Star Fox of the Enterprise.
It's a bit silly that she knows not only how to pilot the ship, but how to operate the lasers, which isn't usually the job of the helmsman.
Instinct.
But we'll forgive it because it's cool as shit.
Plot device. As the Enterprise is saved, Pike is searching for this casket. Finds a box. It is a Starfleet box, and it's got all manner of Starfleet kit in. And this is when Zach goes...
Magical candle.
A magical candle and a magical tricorder. But this is when Zach goes, there is no casket. It's just a myth. There is no box that holds people's memories. And Zach then explains that what is happening is an asteroid hit the planet thousands of years ago, and the radiation that is emanating from the asteroid causes people to have short-term memory loss. And the only thing that prevents this from happening is the material that is used in the construction of the palace and the guards' helmets. It shields the brains from the radiation emanating from the asteroid. So you're like, right. So this is why Pike and the crew didn't get affected when they were there a couple of hours the last time that we were at Rigel 7.
But if they'd stayed for longer, they would have been.
Yeah. Pike, though...
I have to say, I think this is a bit bullshit. Like, the idea of they're like, oh, helmets protect you from radiation, and you're like...
It's a TOS, it's a TOS episode.
I know, but...
That's how I'm going to say it.
Hang on, that is not how radiation works at all.
It's a TOS episode with a TOS plot device, but Pike is about to put a hole straight through Zach, and then right at the last minute...
This is some brutal fisting, and I've been to Berlin. It's...
I've been to Cologne. But right at the...
Colon, it's pronounced.
That's what it was pronounced afterwards.
Well, speaking of fisting... But...
9! But, the...
Oh, God. How much are we lowering the tone? I'm sorry, people in the chat. That was
bye
possibly... You know when you just go, maybe that is bad. Maybe. Like,
bye.
Bye, sponsorship.
Bye, Manscaped. But, unless you like that, then hello, Manscaped. So he's about to kill. He's about to shoot.
Area, I guess.
He's about to shoot Zach. And then his memory conveniently comes back. Oh God, this has gone so off the rails.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so the memories come back, and he remembers Zach, and he's like, "I'm not going to kill you. We don't kill family. We don't leave family behind."
He was going to.
He was going to.
He got his memory back just in time.
Caveman Pike was about to cause all things of upholstery stains, but it was so his memory comes back. And he says, I'm going to, basically, you're going to face justice. We're going to bring you back. We're going to bring you home. But you are going to face justice for everything that you have done on this planet.
Which I feel is a bit unfair. I mean, but, I think he should face justice for the fact that he did actually endanger Pike. Like, he did let his petty vengeance get in the way.
But he violated the Prime Directive.
But what else could he have done, It's this whole idea of literally they went, hey, you were stranded on this planet. They had this technology already. You probably weren't in a position to get rid of it yourself. Like, what do you do? Do you just go, oh, well, I guess I live in a backward society for the rest of my life then? Whereas what he's done effectively is gone, hey, we were already messed up. Like we already broke the Prime Directive. Let's ride it out.
You do.
I don't know. I'd probably forgive him for this, But obviously, I would put him on trial for, yeah, you kind of endangered Pike, you dick. Well, Pike and
you raise a good
Umbenga and Ron.
conundrum. You raise a good conundrum, but he did. He could get out of it, although they can't. But what if
it's kind of like having a Russian spy and being like, oh, if you get captured, just kill yourself, and you're just like, well, that's a bit of a shit deal, isn't it? It's like I wouldn't really blame someone for wanting to survive. Like I don't know.
The argument would be for Zach that how can I contaminate a culture that forgets every 24 hours? If you go down and remove everything that symbolises Starfleet, get rid of the hedgerows and everything like that, they will just forget about it. And I was thinking about it, and I was like, right, okay, but then they immediately like fuck this up, because back on the Enterprise, everyone's memories come back, everyone's fine. There's a new shield harmonic to stop the Enterprise being affected, and then Pike makes a decision to remove the asteroid from the planet, which was causing the radiation, and he's like, well, in my eyes, it's not a violation of the Prime Directive because this asteroid interfered with the natural development of this species. I am merely removing that factor and adjusting the course. But I'd be like, so hold on, do that, but remove all the shit first. Remove all the deltas, all the flags, all the hedges. Get rid of anything that's relating to Starfleet. Then remove the asteroid, because otherwise you have permanently contaminated this culture, because now they will remember.
I think the problem here is, and you have it in what Spock says, where Spock kind of hesitates because this blatantly is breaking the Prime Directive.
Yeah.
Where he is kind of just going, oh, we're just going to fix their planet for them. And you're like, that is interfering with natural development, because surely being struck by a meteorite is natural. I'd say so, maybe.
It
like,
would. It's a grey area.
But effectively, it's like he's doing the good thing. But this is the flaw with the Prime Directive, where he is breaking the Prime Directive, in my opinion, by doing this.
It is a grey area, though. It is very much.
The thing is, though, I would think that there was nothing wrong with what Zach did if he was sensible and went like, okay, cool, I'm not breaking the Prime Directive if I take control of the castle, I become their king. I become their king. Everyone who witnessed what goes on, you're now fired and you go into the wastelands, so you forget everything. And then all the guards have to come from outside. Therefore, they're not going to remember when they get the memories back. They're not going to remember about Starfleet or whatever. And I'm just king. And we're not contaminating anything. Because I'd say he'd probably get away with it then, because Starfleet would be like, oh yeah, you don't, because obviously put the Delta there's a stupid idea, which must have been him tempting fate or trying to get rescued or something,
potentially,
by putting it there.
Yeah.
But it is the idea of, he does fuck it up by effectively the guards know what Starfleet is and they've got lasers, they've got phasers, and you're like going, that is a bit of a. Although, are they natural development, the phasers?
No, because they're still they're Bronze Age. The culture is Bronze Age, so no way.
I wasn't sure, because they don't look like Starfleet ones, are they?
Yeah, they are Starfleet. They do have a little delta on them, but the culture is described as being Bronze Age. So they're 1,000 years ahead technologically, the phasers compared to them. So it would make sense. But yeah, so Pike essentially just gets the asteroid yeeted. I love the fact that Star Trek now, we're just yeeting asteroids and yeeting shit everywhere. We did it with Picard. Twice in Picard, we yeeted a starship and then an asteroid, and now we're yeeting more rocks.
One of the most absurdly silly moments in Trek, and yet I'm totally fine with it.
I absolutely loved it, yeah. But the final scene is obviously Patel is back to
just before we do the final scene, this is my least favourite bit of the whole episode that we've just had. The Deus Ex fucking Machina of Spock just fixing everything. Where it just happens off camera, where it just goes, okay, so Ortega kind of remembered, that she's a pilot, and she kind of remembered how to use the controls and stuff, and you're like, fine. And then she goes, oh yeah, and Spock just magically fixed everything by changing, by isolating the problem and then changing the
shield harmonics. Yeah.
And you're like, what? It's like, that's the episode I want to see.
Yeah.
How the fuck he managed that? And it is just like, oh, and everything got fixed off screen, and you're like going,
Plot
not sure about
contrivance.
this. But really, really good episode. But when it just goes, oh, and then the problem got solved. And you're
Yeah.
like,
But
anyway.
we do see Pike and Patel. Patel comes back to do this prisoner transfer. Prisoner transfer.
I thought you said pensioner transfer.
Pensioner transfer. Well, yes.
Come on, here's me nan. Come on.
Yeah. Let's get you onto Enterprise. Get curtains drawn.
He's
So
got a purse with £2 in it. That'll do.
NCIS is on soon. So we so essentially
Nana Visitor. That's what that is.
Oh, you've seen the meme
Guest
as well.
starring Nana Visitor.
The Nana Visitor. I'm going to Bejo to see my grandparents. Are you a Nana Visitor?
Actually, have you listened to the Shuttle Pod show with Nana Visitor?
I have, yeah.
It's so good, man.
It is so good. Shout out to the Shuttle Pod show, by the way, please.
Stop watching this shit. Watch the Shuttle Pod
Stop
show.
watching something adequate and watch something well made.
Yeah, it's so good. I was listening. I was
actively
listening to
dislike this video so we can go and watch.
Yeah, I was listening to the. I don't know how you pronounce his name. Is Sirach Lofton?
Sirach Lofton, yeah.
Yeah. He is brilliant because he is so genuine. He is probably the most genuine person I've ever seen interviewed about anything because he's just totally open about, I have no idea about Trek. I don't really care about Trek. I just like being in nice places and chatting to people. And he's so wonderfully genuine about it and such a fun guy normally. And he's just so endearing. Like him just talking about Trek and stuff and just being like, I had no idea what was going on here. Or like,
And the fact he's rewatching it now and he's discovering all this as well, which is beautiful.
I mean, that is a really good episode of the Shuttlebot Show where it was talking about him, it was talking about how he got into, acting and doing commercials and stuff. And then but then obviously doing his own podcast, which he did with
Aaron Eisenberg.
Aaron Eisenberg, how did I forget that? But yeah, Aaron Eisenberg, who played Nog, and basically it's got a brilliant bit in the episode where he's just going, I wasn't watching the episodes.
Yeah, he just faked it.
They were doing what we're doing when we're talking about an episode, and he was just like, yeah, I love that bit. And they're like, you don't know what's going on, do you? You didn't watch the episode.
Never wing it, guys. You will always be found out.
But that's it. But unless you're as charismatic as Sirach Lofton and you can pull it off, you can just go, I didn't do the homework, so sue me. But, he's so endearing. Anyway.
But the final scene sees Patel and Pike making up. Pike realizing, he realizes how much Patel means to him. And he's willing to put the work in because the life of a Star Trek captain is a solitary one, and it is very hard, especially when you are two captains on two different starships, to have a relationship. So essentially they're going to see if they can make a long distance relationship work, and they kiss and make up, and that is it. We pan out of captain's quarters and they're all kissing and smooching and it's all sickening. And I was just like, you're going to do this sex, aren't you, you bastards?
The dirty sex. And considering I still think they're father and daughter, it's very awkward. But that's not the end of the episode because we get a wonderful voiceover from Ortegas, which basically has the moral of the moral of the episode, which is giving yourself credit for what you're good at, even if it comes naturally. And I think this is a really good little message to have. Because obviously in the whole episode where they just go, hey, the people have forgotten their memories, but they instinctively know the stuff that they're good at. And these are really useful skills. We have Ortegas who can, pilot the ship and get them out of danger. Spock who can fix the entire fucking episode. Chapel who still has Chaplain and Benga who still have basic medical knowledge. And Pike who can kick ass, And this is these things where, and I think it's very much that where we don't give ourselves credit as people for the stuff we're good at. And I'm very much like this. I'm very much like, of course I can do that crazy thing, but I can't do this other thing. So I'll be like, I can't play guitar, and I'll really be annoyed at myself for it. But they're like, but you can sing and do this. And I'm like, but who cares about that? And it's that idea of appreciating what you can do and how important that is, I think that's a really good message to have.
You
Because
can't
we
be
all
good
have
at
something.
everything.
No matter how useless you think you are, you can do something better than other people,
Yeah.
and you can do stuff that will impress other people.
You can't. The moral of the story is you can't be good at everything, but you can give yourself credit for what you are good at. And I'm pretty much crap at everything, but I'm good at maybe one or two things.
But this is the thing, you're not like, okay, what I want, okay, this is going to get a bit hippie, but I have been at a festival and had to deal with a lot of people on drugs. I had one person who I will not name who was in our troupe who literally just took everything they were offered, and the state of them on Sunday was just like, okay, you barely function. But I want everyone in the comments or in the chat to say one thing. Like, really try. It doesn't matter how much you hate yourself. Say one thing that you can do that other people can't, because there will always be something.
Ooh.
And it doesn't matter if it's some. It doesn't matter that it doesn't need to be unique. It doesn't need to be sort of like, oh, I'm a good singer, or oh, I'm good at maths, or something like that. It doesn't need to be. Well, obviously it can be those, but it doesn't need to be. Oh, but everyone can do that. It's like, yeah, cool. Nobody. I can't do. We had a hilarious thing in work this week where I had to actually think. I had to remember algebra because we had like a formula. You know where you had it in school, where you have a formula where it's like, here's the formula, but one of the things is like X, and you're like, how do you work out what X is? And you're like, oh, piss, it's been 35 years. It's like,
Oh no.
yeah. And I was like, I'm terrible at that. And then I asked like another member of my team, and they were like, oh, yeah, you just do it like this. And I'm like, you are a god. But
This is the thing, guys. Synoiz has hit the nose on the head there.
the nose on
the nail on the head. Sorry, I'm tired. I'm drugged. Nearly time for drugs. The prescription.
Drugs, you say?
Prescription. Like Synoiz has said in the live chat, in the comments below, one thing that you are good at. One thing that you are good at. It may be the most common thing in the world, but if you feel that you are good at it, celebrate it. It's really hard for me to think of one. I'm probably just going to say driving.
Well, think of the thing. You are good at driving. You are charismatic. You're able to do this. Like, it's the fact of when we have these meetups, when we have things like SunnyCon and stuff like that, nobody is going, oh,
I'm good at throwing
or whatever.
I'm good at throwing.
Okay, we'll not put that on the list, shall we? You're good at dodging claims. But oh god, gonna get naked off cam. But no, it's this idea. But and also think about the Star Trek knowledge. Like, the reason why we're doing this podcast is because you can retain that knowledge and you can enjoy it and convey it in a way that is interesting to people. Not me, obviously, but there are people out there who like you as a person.
You are good. You are good at making me cry with laughter. I will say this story again because Synoiz wasn't here last week. Backstage at SunnyCon, we were about to go on stage. Synoiz was in wonderful velvet snatch drag, absolutely stunning. A lady comes up and says to Synoiz, "Are you in the talent show?" Without missing a beat, and I mean, instantaneous. She went, "No, I'm untalented." I was on the floor.
I think the hilarious thing is that the girl who did that won the talent competition. So she was the most humble person. She's like, "Oh, you're in the." I wonder if she was coming up to be like, "You're in the talent competition." Fuck,
Yeah.
But she won, and she was absolutely amazing.
Yes.
I didn't catch the name though, but we got, because we went on after.
Yes.
And we were like, "Yeah, you deserve to win that. You're amazing."
Yeah, we went on after, and then we're probably about to be escorted out. But
you can watch it, can't you? You can watch the
yes.
North live stream. I haven't, because obviously the problem is I looked at it and then realized the camera is literally just me. One of the cameras is like 50% me, a little bit of Sammy, and then tiny little Paul in the corner.
The live stream is on.
I was like, okay, I'm not watching myself for this whole 2 hours or whatever.
Next year there will be 3 cameras and more microphones. So, oh, daddy. So, anyway, guys, that has been our review of episode 4 of Strange New Worlds. Thank you so much for everyone who has joined in and who loves our innate Tangeal banter. I suppose you're all waiting to find out how you can win one of these in an XL.
An XL, an extra large. I'm just going to put that in there.
If you don't fit it, eat. That's my encouragement.
Put some weight on.
Put some weight on. Right. What did your mums and nanas always say when you were younger? You'll grow into it.
Oh, mine just said, pull your finger out. That's not where it goes.
XL T-shirt. Look at it, and I can confirm.
You can barely see a quarter of its greatness.
I can confirm. Where is it? Focus, you bitch. There, look.
That is not focusing. Extra large. There we go.
There you go.
Hey.
XL.
Black short, extra large. That's literally what I'm searching for on Tinder.
This is. Right, no more martinis for you while we're recording.
I'm sorry, Cosmopolitan now.
Oh God, he's drinking a magazine. This is the introduction to the new merch that we are looking at, and it is. People think it's easy to do merch. It isn't. So this is.
There's another of Paul's skills.
It is.
The fact that Paul's so amazingly good with like logos and amazingly good with this, and able to coordinate this whole where do you order stickers from?
Yes.
We don't know.
I know, but I'm not going to tell you. But yes, Paul designed this logo. We will be probably selling these T-shirts going forward. These are fantastic. The Fruit of the Loom. They are Fruit of the Loom T-shirts. They are very good quality.
Oh.
So when
I do love a loom.
Oh yes, yeah. I do love a bit of fruit.
Yeah.
So guys, if you want to win the Trekkin Up North XL T-shirt as well as some sexy stickeroonies,
Can I enter?
No. Oh. If you want, what you have to do to be in with the chance of winning all that fabulous swag, I need you to subscribe to the Nerdy Up North YouTube channel, to click on the bell to make sure that you get all the notifications for when all of our content is going live, and then on either the Nerdy Up North Twitter, which will be a pinned post, or the Nerdy Up North community page where there will be a featured post about this, share a screenshot of you subscribed and liked. And that's all you need to do.
Wait, a screenshot of the page showing that they're subscribed.
Yeah, they're subscribed and the bell is there.
I thought you were going to a picture of them pressing subscribe. And it just
do that as well.
Their computer and just be like.
Do that as well. I want full on local newspaper.
Don't add to his pervy collection.
I want full on local newspaper screenshots of you just pointing. Right. Put the flash on your phone as well. No. Get a film camera.
I'm pressing subscribe.
Yeah. Get a film camera.
Nan, get the cam. I'm pressing subscribe.
Get a film camera. Take a picture. Go to Boots. Develop it. Scan it. And then...
No, actually, literally... one of our troupe at the festival had like backing dancers. And one of the backing dancers was at the tent site with a
disposable camera.
Yeah, and I was like, I haven't seen one of those in like a decade. And he's literally taking a picture and be like, ooh, and I'm just like, do you not have a phone?
That is amazing.
It was so kind of surreal. You know, the idea of like, I know digital camera. Yeah, I know like one-take cameras, but like you're used to seeing someone who has like a vintage camera, or a proper film camera, or like one of those Polaroid ones, you know, where they take the instant.
Not a Kodak disposable.
Never disposable. You know, it's like that's one of these things where you're like, yeah, we don't need that. There's not even anything kitsch about it. You know, it's just, you know. And I was just like, this is really surreal. Like, where do you get that developed nowadays? You know?
My God. But yes, guys. So, like I said, there'll be two statuses. It'll go up, one on Facebook, one on Twitter. Share a screenshot of you subscribing and hitting the bell on the YouTube channel for your chance to be for your chance to be in
in a very baggy t-shirt.
In a very baggy t-shirt.
Unless you're bigger than an extra large, and then you're fucked. So it's basically, let's see what happens here.
We'll work on it. But what we will do...
I really want someone really, really skinny to win. Just so
Oh,
we
can you
can get
imagine
a
Beth
picture of us
winning it?
going with like, yeah, if Beth wins.
Oh
And
my
we just
God.
get, the office like big crocodile clips, and we just put them at the back like Homer Simpson pulling his fat back. We'll just do them at the back to get it tight.
Wow, Beth, you look amazing in that Trekking Up North t-shirt. 197 pegs are holding it back.
See, that's what we need. That is definitely what we need.
Oh, so what will happen is next week live, I'll put all the names in a wheel. Who's shared, and then we will spin the wheel. It won't be a double wheel, unfortunately, but we will spin the wheel.
Yeah.
And then whoever it lands on will win the fabulous nerdy swag. This is our first competition, guys. I don't care if it's an XL t-shirt. Put it on eBay, sleeping it, take photos for OnlyFans. I don't care. We are giving it away. So,
I think it's cool though. I think, and it's also, let's not downplay the stickers. The stickers are really cool.
Stickers are really shout out to Jen.
Have I even got a Trekking Up North?
You have. I give you a shiny. Did I give you a shiny?
No.
I will go
I've
to.
got a gaming. I've got the. Have you got it there? The Charizard Gaming Up North one. Is that actually part of the prize? Or is
It's
that
too far.
Okay. But yeah, I've got a Gaming Up North one, but that's it. I'm just like, hang on.
We are
I've
going.
got an Alien Nerdy Up North one, but
Yeah.
I haven't actually got one for our show.
I will approach our sticker supplier and order more shinies, shall we say? But guys, that is it for this week's episode of Trekking Up North. I have been your host, Captain Goodwill. He's been Synoiz. What's left of him? Because he's more Martini than Synoiz at the moment.
To be fair, I'm not actually that drunk. I'm just very happy to be chatting about Trek again.
Oh, good. Join us next week where we'll be reviewing episode 5. This week coming up on Nerdy Up North, though, this Friday we have got the gang reviewing Stand By Me on Sunday at 7:30, which is going to be great because there's a great Star Trek connection for Will Wheaton.
Is it Stand By Me on Sunday?
Stand By Me is in there, yeah, with Will Wheaton. I think it is, yeah, Will Wheaton. I'm just going to say Will Wheaton all the time.
Cool whip.
Cool whip. There's hair in that pie. And then we will no doubt be twitching as well next week.
I will be.
Yeah, well.
After this many martinis.
Oh yes.
Actually,
Monday...
we've got Sunderland Pride on Saturday, and the opening tomorrow, and we've got the opening of Bobby's Sunderland. Now, you might not know this, but if you live in the northeast in Newcastle, they have the wonderful Bobby's Bar, which is at the end of the Gay Street on Scotswood Road, and it is wonderful. It is run by a man called Kirk, who is one of the best bar owners you can ever have, because he does this crazy thing of listening to what people want. And yeah, which is a crazy idea, because most of the time you get people being like, well, this is what I want to do. And you're like, no one gives a shit, and bars fail. Whereas he's very much kind of like going, oh, what do people want? Oh, let's put that kind of night on. And it's great. And it's been so successful that he's opening a one in Sunderland, which will be a regular one. So it's next to where the Lambton Worm used to be. I forgot what the Lambton Worm is called now, but on that street. And the grand opening is on Saturday. They have a big fancy night there. So I think it's hosted by Ophelia Balls, who is one of my favorite, and one of the oldest Northeast drag queen. But they don't use their full name anymore. They just go by Ophelia. And you're like, oh, really? Ophelia Balls. If the children get it, fuck them. But
just footballs.
So do that. Yeah,
just football.
So that's a cool thing that's happening.
So if you're in the northeast of England, guys, if you're in the northeast of England, please head along.
Yep.
Monday.
If you are LGBT and in Sunderland, there is finally a good bar for you to go to. Because we have really needed a scene for a long time. Because the big problem is Sunderland kind of let its gay scene die off, and then everyone just got so used to going to Newcastle that there is nothing in Sunderland. So it's kind of good to know that there's going to be a well-managed place with lots of cool entertainment in Sunderland for people around Washington, Sunderland area.
Hopefully it'll start to come back, guys. Monday, the Monsters Up North crew with the lovely Sammy and Dan from Bleeding Marvellous are talking about Pennywise.
Is it Pennywise? Yeah, I haven't watched the Predator one
I
yet.
really, really am not looking forward to that because I don't like clowns. I have a big phobia of clowns.
See, this is the thing. It's like Pennywise is amazing, but it's because they focus on the monster, not the actual movie, and it's a
Yeah.
bit weird because it isn't just about Pennywise; it's about like the situation, as a lot
Hmm.
of Stephen King novels are. And so it's a bit weird because I'm like, oh, I wouldn't be talking about Pennywise that much. I'd be talking about like the Derry and the history and stuff like that. And it's like, it's an interesting one. So that should be a really exciting episode.
Guys, if you are not a member of Nerdy Up North, what are you doing? Click that subscribe, click the bell, send a screenshot for a free XL t-shirt. We are on YouTube, we are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook, we've got a Facebook community, we are on Threads, we are on our fingers are on the pulse of modern social media. We are on the threads. We are on the tick and the talk twice.
You're just doing it because Sean Ferret got one. You saw that Sean Ferret had got one, didn't he?
Has he?
Threads?
Has he?
I think he did. I think he did.
Sean!
I actually installed Twitter the other day. I installed Twitter the other day to check something.
Sean, where are you?
Come
There
on,
you are,
find
Sean.
Hello.
Hello.
And the stalking continues.
He was in Newcastle upon Tyne
Oh.
this week.
Yeah, and you were there with your little disposable camera.
I was going to get in. I was going to get into the car and go visit them. No, they. What Culture were filming something for Trek Culture and Who Culture, so they were busy up in the Toon. So huge shout out to Trek Culture as well. If you are a fan of this show, please go check out Trek Culture. I'll put a link in the description. Speaking of links, like I said, everything that Nerdy Up North is on is in those links. Like them, subscribe them, click them, lick them, do whatever you want to do with them. If you want to donate to Alison's Race for Life, the link is down there below. Did you like the theme tune? The gorgeous 12.5-foot Viking god Adam made it. His website.
Climb him like a mountain.
Oh, there's not enough yellow pages in the world. Did you
see when me and Jake were playing? Me and Jake have started streaming Diablo 2 on Twitch, and we had Adam in the chat, and all we were doing was just perfing on Adam for the whole thing.
Quite rightly.
It was so awkward, but I was loving it.
I am a heterosexual male, but Adam, you can turn me.
Well, Jake's heterosexual as well, but I'm just like, no, Adam.
Adam. Yes. Anyway, the music.
That's the note I want to end on. I don't
yes,
say anything else, actually.
His music's in there below. Spectrum Sanctorum are down there below as well. Huge thank you to Spectrum Sanctorum one more time for sending me this gorgeous t-shirt. Absolutely lovely. And the Gowron mug. Glory to you and your podcast. But I think that is it, Synoiz. I think it's time for us to head back to the Adequate and sign off on this episode. What do you think? Yeah? You're a bit pissed. You don't care.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm not pissed.
He's a bit pissed. Right, guys. Take care of yourselves. Live long and prosper. We absolutely love each and every one of you. Stay safe. Captain Goodwill to U.S.S. Adequate. Beam us up.
Miles?